Hi, I'm Chris and welcome to this week's tutorial. Let's draw together. In this video, we're going to be drawing a cute and quick ice cream cone just like this. And for this, it'll be a two-part series. So part one, we'll be doing the drawing and the sketching. And in part two, we'll be doing the painting. So stay tuned for that. They'll be coming up shortly. And if it's out already, there will be a link below in the description so you can get that part two. And I will be using all the brushes and canvases and swatches I'll be using for this series are all found in the Illustrator starter kit that you can find in the description below. It's absolutely free, so if you want to follow along with the same tools, you're welcome to do that. Okay, so let's get started. I have my living water canvas opened up. You can see it has the texture on it here. I have my brushes ready to go. This is the Illustrator starter kit, all the brushes. I also have my swatches. I'm not going to use too many of them, but if you want to bring up the quick daily sketches, that's sort of where I'll just kind of start from, and we'll probably create our own colors from there. Okay, so we can just use this brown for sketching for today. Okay, so I'm just going to go and use the sketching pencil hard from the Cute Character class, that sample pack. And let's begin with a simple shape, which is just going to be a circle. Just get your hand warmed up. Do more of an oval, actually. I said a circle, but it doesn't have to be like, make it a little bit wider because of course it's gonna be melting slightly, so a little bit wider than tall. Okay. Now just draw a rough straight line down. Then we're gonna draw a triangle. So you're gonna do that. Maybe not that wide. Ice cream cones aren't that wide. So just keep it loose. Super scratchy. I probably want it a little bit pointier than that. Okay. And that is going to come, obviously we're not going to see this top part. We're going to have some nice lovely drips and all the rest of it. So let's do that. Have this sort of bell out on the sides. You know, ice cream scoop kind of go like that and then they kind of come out like that. So we're going to do this and it's going to be, maybe we'll have like a little drip here, sort of like that. Ice cream's actually pretty weird to draw because it's just sort of like just wiggly lines. We'll say that a lot. So just sort of do some weird wiggly lines around here and having it drip off this end. Now what I would suggest is not having these two lined up like I almost did right there because that'll look odd. So have them a regular sizing. So maybe like that. And then we can have, you know, a little drip like that. Have them different. Then maybe we'll have maybe a little almost drip there. I don't know, I'm trying to make it look not too planned out. Okay, so something like that. And let's see, maybe we'll kind of wiggle out like that so it's a bit different. All right, so with your cone, have this part come here and then we'll do like a diagonal, so it's sort of a waffle cone. So again, wiggly line there. Throw that in, make that nice and pointy. And then have it so that, you know, these two lines don't meet exactly. So they're coming in like that. So that's folded in there. Okay, so then I'm going to, actually I'm just going to, I've gotten a little bit big here, so I'm just going to use my arrow to resize it. I have it on uniform, so if I just use these little toggles, and I can resize that. And now we're going to do whipping cream. Whipping cream is also kind of a weird thing to draw as well, but we'll do our best. So it's going to kind of be here, let's just say the general area. And then we're going to have a cherry in it. I still have drawn this too big, so I'm just going to keep sizing because I want to have, after this where the cherry is, have the little stem do a cute little whoop, little curve, little curl at the top. Okay, so for the cherry, just draw a circle and then dip it in, just do a U, and then bell out the top. Like so. And that's a little cherry shape. Now it's going to kind of be buried in the whipping cream, so you can just erase the bottom part. So it's kind of sunken in, of course. Like that. And then we'll have just sort of these lines sort of wrapping around. So you're ready? Sort of curve here. It's going to kind of go around. Another one up and around. Just wiggle it. Return over there. Same with here. Whoops, I'm getting a little out of control. Maybe up and then around there. Just something like that. Add a few more lines like that. Okay, so then this is going to be obviously not this perfect circle, so you're going to have it a little bit, you know, bumpy, a little rigid. And oh, I forgot about this line here. So this we will continue on as well. Again, maybe overlapping a little bit, something like that. Okay, so it's starting to look delicious. And we can, I'm not gonna, well, you know what, maybe we should map out. This actually might help us. We'll have a guide for our waffle pattern. So what I'm gonna do is have these lines not straight. I'm just gonna have them a little bit curved, give them a little bit more personality. So just, this will be just sort of our guide and then we'll fill it in. So have them spaced out as evenly as possible. It's kind of like that. And that rough edge will kind of work out later. And then this, just have this slightly at a different angle, not too much, but just, you know, they're too, come around just to make that plane change a little bit. All right, so we're gonna do the other angle going this way. So just do the reverse. So I'm doing this scoop this way. Going like that. Just make sure it doesn't go too sideways, as you're still vertical enough. If that makes sense. So, yeah, wonderful. Okay, so there's our rough sketch. So we can just go to that layer, tap on the end, and bring back that opacity. We can go over and do our good copy. So I'm just creating a new layer by tapping on the plus sign. Still using the sketching pencil hard, and my size is at around 30, 27, 30, somewhere in there, whatever you're comfortable with. And we can go ahead and do this. So actually before I draw my whipping cream here, I'm just gonna draw some sprinkles. I don't think we need to put those in our rough copy, so we're just gonna draw little sprinkles. So just do them like random shapes, similar size-ish. I mean, they don't all have to be exactly the same size, but you know how sprinkles go. Oops, don't have them like that. You can have them overlapping like that, but not like a V. So that's weird. Sometimes it's hard to make things irregular. I don't know why, but it just looks like too bland. Okay, that's probably all right. And then you know what, it's probably a good idea too to have, you know, one sticking out from the side, kind of from behind, because that might be a little bit more realistic as well. So it goes around the whole thing. Okay, so then we can do our little cherry, little stem here. So I have some little thickness at the top, and then you can have it. Yeah, that's probably thin enough. All right, and then just have your lines not hit your sprinkles. It's amazing what a few little squiggly lines can do. It makes it actually kind of look like something. So here, I think if you have something like this, if you put a little line underneath, it's going to make it look like it's turned up. Kind of like what we do when we have petals and things like that. And sometimes whipping cream kind of does the edges from the piping. So you can try that, see if that works for you. And just have this, you know, just not perfect. I like that. Same with this. It's going to be a little wiggly. I just put little sort of jitters into my hand when I do it and just play with the pressure a little bit. Just making that look somewhat realistic, or, you know, stylized anyways. This needs to make sense and read properly. That's all we're going for. So you can have little, you know, bumps. I think that actually would probably add to it too if you kind of added a few little extra squiggles and wiggles in here. Yeah, that one looks good. Okay. So with this nice and rough edge, we can add a little bit, so maybe a few little extra squiggles in there too. And I'm just realizing too, if we really want to add to it, maybe don't have this line like that. Let's see where our squares are using our pattern. Maybe kind of go, this is just adding more detail. So in where it's a box and then out where the ridge would be, if that makes sense. So in, out, you just kind of have to follow your guide so that when we bring these in, these little boxes, we can have those outlines. So I'm just outlining them. Does that make sense? So you're just sort of doing the squares inside of our guidelines, and that's going to create those ridges to make it look like a waffle. So if you do the outside detail like that, it will help. So just where the line is, just do a little jog like that. Have to be perfect, but there you go. Okay, so then we just are going to continue on to fill in these little squares. Some of them end up being more rectangles, but that's okay. This shape. And let's just have a look and see what it looks like without. See, it works. Looks cool. Okay, perfect. Well, let's keep going. Okay. There we go, our lovely pattern. So let's just turn off that sketch layer and see what we have. Okay, I like it. I think that I'm just gonna make a little adjustment here. Mine seems to bow out a little awkwardly here. So what you can do instead of redrawing everything, because who wants to do that? Not me. I'm just gonna go to my magic wand and go to liquefy. And with the push selected, maybe at about 50% or so, I'm just gonna move that up. I'm just gonna push that. See, that just looks a little better. Okay, so I wouldn't suggest using it too much because it will kind of wreck the pixels in the picture if you do, make it too wonky. But if you just have minor adjustments, don't be afraid to use that because it's a whole lot easier than trying to redraw it all. A whole lot quicker. Okay, so we can do some, let's see if this looks good. Maybe like some little cracks in the ice cream, that sort of happens. I don't know if that'll read well, but let's have a look. Something like that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's all right. Give it a little texture. All right, so we can go ahead, and if we want to make this a little softer looking, we can use the rough sketcher. Just a small size. Let's see, I have it around 2%. It just looks like this, or if we're kind of giving it a more old-fashioned sort of vintage feel. I'm just gonna rub over just the edges a little bit, just softens them. You don't have to if you want a more cleaner look, but this is just gonna give it a certain look that I like for this. I think I missed a drop over there. I can bring it back in a minute. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just going to kind of do the outside just a little bit because that would be a little time consuming. I don't think it's really necessary. Okay, I think that's good. Now, of course, like before, we can go and duplicate our layer if you want it even bolder, which actually looks kind of good. You can also play with the colors if it kind of makes a difference, or the blending modes, if that makes a difference. I don't think it really does in this case. So if you'd like to double it up and make it even stronger, then go for that. I said I missed a drop here, and I did, so I'm just going to go add that back with my sketching pencil. There we go. That's probably better. And I think we're done for today. So look out for part 2, where we're going to paint this in. I'm just going to turn off my sketch so it looks nicer. So look out for part 2 coming up soon. And if you're watching this and it's already come out, it will be linked below in the description, so you can go ahead and paint and finish this up. So make sure that you give it a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, and also hit the bell notification so you'll be notified of the new tutorials just like this, and of course part 2. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.